Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft. Thanks for joining me again today. Going to do a craft with me today. Want to make Christmas tags. I'm almost finished. A December journal. What it is a journal that you can pop your receipts from Christmas presents, recipes that you want to try, Christmas card lists, etc. in. But the tags that are in it are the tags that then go on your presents. So they're not necessarily my big, huge, multi-layered tags that I do for my journals. These ones need to be fairly flat, but they need to be written on the back and small enough to still go on presents, so that as you work your way through your journal, you've got your tags in there in all the pockets to pull out, put on your wrapped presents, and then you've got your pockets for other bits and pieces as you go. So this is the journal. It's just waiting for its tags now. I'll do a flip through of it when we're finished, and we'll see how many tags we can get done. So first things first, I want to use up some of my serviettes. So I've done a few in there, but I'll just give you a quick go on how we're going to do this sort of thing. My tags, I'm just using manila folders, your good old file folder things, and I tend to cut them into strips somewhere between 2 and 3 inches. These are about 2 1/4 inches. I find that they're nice and flat. I can still cover them without layering, adding any extra bulk, and my journal is a cream cardstock on the inside. So now this is just a serviette, and they were just little serviettes, but I wanted a little bit of extra. So if you see here, it's lovely, but I wanted a little bit of extra with it without adding the bulk. So what I've done is my manila folder, I've covered it in book paper. Of course I had to use some book paper somewhere, but the book paper I've used here, I've got a book that I gutted ages ago that I used the cover for a journal. But the book itself has really, really thin paper. It's, really thin. So if you're using it for anything else, you need to add 2 or 3 pages together to get a good thickness. But for things like this where I just want the book paper, as in the writing, but without adding any thickness, it works a treat. So again, manila folder, cut into strips, and then I've just layered 2 or 3 pages up in a row, glued them on so that it's really not added any extra thickness to the manila folder, but it's given me a background. So from that, I cut out a tag shape. I've inked around the edges just so that it's got that darker edge already on it. And what we're going to do, I'll just grab a scrap piece of paper, is using a gel medium. I've got my brush. So the one I'm using is a Liquitex, and it's a matte medium. You can use, let me have a think, normal gel mediums. Tina Wakeley does a really nice gel medium. You can use watered down PVA glue, watered down Mod Podge. We just want to pop a glue base in here. I can always add some more as I go. So this is just as it comes straight out of the bottle. Nice big flat brush, and I'm just going to coat the whole thing. Okay, so what it's doing is gluing this area, making it all just glue. Trying not to get too much on the back because I want them as actual tags. Give it a good coating. We want this serviette to adhere nicely. Lift it up, move that out of the way. And this is my serviette. So I can either add it that way or add it this way. As I don't want this bit in it, but I do want, so I'm going to actually move it over and just lightly place it like so. Okay, just give it a little bit of a tap down, which just lightly adheres it onto it. you can see where I'm going with that. So it'll still give me all my stars. There'll be a little bit of the S up here, but it's not going to show that it's an S. I'm just going to tap that down, get my scrap piece again. And now I'm going to coat over the top again, which will seal it. Oh. If you want an extra hint, which is what I haven't done now, when you're doing things like this, something that's quite wet, and it'll quite often make your paper, your manila folder, your cardstock, your paper, whatever, want to curl. It'll flatten. It will flatten. Don't fret. It will flatten out. But if you don't want it to curl straight away, the best way to do it is just before you start, turn your cardstock over and give it just a light spritz with water. I know there's a technical reason why and all the rest, but something to do with the fibres. And I know all of you out there are going to go, yeah, it's such and such and such and such. I'm not quite certain of the terminology. I just know it works. So it'll do something with the fibres, but stopping from curling the other way. Right. So that's now been sealed on that side as well. And that just needs to dry. Let's sit that over there. That down there. Okay, so we've got our one. Doesn't take long. It depends on the temperature of your house, where you're living. You know, it's like how long's a ball of string. They truly don't take that long to dry. You don't need to wait days or anything else. Probably an hour and it'll all be dry. Set that aside for it to dry. And then once it's dry, you've got that. Okay, so it's harder now, but it's not sticky. I quite often find Mod Podge goes a little bit sticky, not all the time, just sometimes, which is why I moved to the mediums. And then you've got that. So it's just a matter then of trimming around that one. Just follow around. Go back and do your corners. Later you can either punch them with a corner rounder, because this was already a tag shape that I've put it on. You could just put it on a straight piece and then just cut, you know, your tag bits in it. You know me, I love these tags. I use them that many times. I'm amazed they're not worn out. These were the Uniquely Creative tags, or tag set, because there's a couple of them in it, and I pull them out all the time. I love them. Alright, so, and round. Oh, eyes need working on. Go around my corners. Right, so now I've got that. I find once it's dry, now with the your normal hole punches, you know, or your crocodile or whatever else, whatever you've got, I have these ones, and I have the three sizes, the real small, the medium one, and the large. My large I've loaned to a friend at the moment. Didn't think I'd need it, but I do need it when I'm doing these sorts of things. So if you haven't got a hole punch and you've cut out a tag shape that's already got the hole in it and you've covered it, this is what you do. Craft knife, because this is now nice and hard, just straight in and then work your way around that hole, just lightly. You don't want to cut the paper or the tag. All you're doing is cutting a serviette, which is nice and light anyway. Don't cut your finger. Right, there's your hole. Okay, so, you know, needs must. I looked for it everywhere yesterday and then realised, no, I'd loaned it out. I'll grab it later. So, technically, there's your tag. You know, they can write their to from on the other side. But if you want to take this a little bit further, see, I've already done this one yesterday because I loved it so much and I plan to do a few more. All I've done, see the little stickles? The little glittery bits. Now, all they are, and I'm sure we've all seen them, hang on, are just the stickles. Now, there's lots of different brands of glitter glues as such, not glitter glue. These ones are the Ranger ones, and I've been using these for years and years and years. I find they've always worked a treat for me. If you leave them for a while, the glitter settles down here, the glue's up here, and when you first use them, you'll just get the glue. So just give them a shake first use again, and it's just a matter. Just shake that. And then I'll get a scrap piece of paper, double check, because I want real fine work coming out of here. So you can see where I've played with this yesterday. So I just want to make sure that I'm just going to get little bits of glitter first up, and I'm just going to go in those spots. And it's a matter of just dabbing it down. So if I bring that up, this is all I'm doing. And all it does is finish it off and give it a little bit more eye candy as such on my actual tag. And then you need to sit that one aside to dry. They will take longer to dry than that medium that I've just used. Okay, so put them somewhere safe where you're not going to squash them or chuck everything else that you're working on onto them, because we all do it. Don't laugh. I know we all do it. We'll sit it somewhere safe and forget that it's in that safe spot, and then put all our other stuff on top of it. So that one's now drying. That one is complete. That one is now drying. And that one is drying. So that one and that one, I'm going to sit aside. That's done. Bear with me. Have a sip of your coffee. I'm just going to keep behind. All right. They are in a very safe place on the desk behind me. Right. First thing, it's done. Put that in the bin. I love serviettes. I love handmade papers and different types of papers. So this is a very lightweight, I don't know. It is a paper. It's, I'm not quite certain what sort of paper. It's got an embossed area in it, but I found this late last night. So I've got another tag shape cut here, and I want to cover the whole of the tag in this. So I'm just going to get rid of those stipples, and I need to grab that one back out again, and we'll quickly do this one as well so it can be drying while we're doing these. Another piece of scrap and a little bit more glue. Right. So this all just washes out under the sink, hot water or warm water. So now if I'd thought earlier with this, it would have been nice, because this tag has the stitching in it. It probably would have been very nice to actually have done that side with the glue so that the stitching was my then writing side, but oh well. All right. So I don't know how well this one's going to go. So let's have a look. That's my embossed side. Don't know whether the embossing will still highlight up or not. Never know. But that's actually given that a very nice colour now. So it's Christmas, but not real Christmas, if that makes sense. All right. Where have I got all that glue? Because I don't want the glue. Now we'll give it our top coat and leave it to dry. I don't know whether this one will work out. As I said before, I'm not quite certain what the paper is. So we'll see how we go. And at the end, we'll have a look and see whether it's adhered or still showing some embossing. But you never know unless you have a play. So always, if you're not quite certain about something, have a play with, not necessarily right in the middle of your good journal that you're working on, try it on some scrap or try it on a tag that you can add or not add. Right, because it feels completely different going over. So we'll have a look at that later on. I'm thinking it's glued on there. It's still showing some of that embossing. So we'll set that one to dry and see how it goes. Probably should cut it a little bit smaller so that, let's have a look. We'll just chop that down there. Don't want that glue on my scissors. So a bit like that. Right, we'll set that to dry, but where I can get hold of it again. I'm going to sit that over there. Right, remind me that it's on that side later on when I'm looking for it. Okay, now let's go with some of these other tags. I've got stuff all over that already. It's all right, it's drying. Right, so just general tags. Let's have a look. We want these. These guys would be, let's have a look size-wise as they are now. About 2 1/8. Or if we're going in centimetres, they're about 5.5 centimetres. All up, let's just get rid of the folds, because this has been the back piece of the manila folder, so it's folded down there. Don't chuck that, because that'll make a good pre-scored tab. Okay? As if we need to be told not to chuck something. Right, all up now, we're about 7.5. So if I do about 3 3.25. Seven and a half. 3.75. Wasn't quite 7.5, was it? That one's going to be just under 4. Going to go a little bit further. Roundabout. All right, so let's cut a couple of those. Get rid of that folded line. Keep that for a tab. And we were round about there. 4. How many of these are we going to make? I think I need 11 more for this journal. So if I can actually get 11, I think I'm doing rather well. You've all seen how quick I am. Not. Right. Leave that one just in case we get there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I'm just using my little, I don't think I want them that. So I'm just going to take that in a little bit. Same on this side. Take it in a little bit and a little bit. Then I've got my tag shape. That's all I'm going to do to them. Well, as in shape-wise, with these ones, we're not going to die cut them or anything else. Going to cover them and with everything else. Here's my bits and bobs from where I've been working on this journal. And it is literally just my, oh look, they'll work for tags as well. We might do one of those. They're just papers left over, bits and bobs and all the rest. That's from last week's tutorial. Some of these are really light. But because they're double-sided, I want plain on the back. All right, I'm going to stick that one on there. We'll just play. I need some more scrap. Just down with my glue stick this time. And I want that side, don't I? And my big scissors again. don't know about you guys, but we've got the most beautiful day here today. We had the most horrendous weather a couple of days ago. Rain, hail, wind, but we did have the most awesome thunderstorm. I'm very partial to a good thunderstorm, so it was wonderful. Right. That's that one. Move that. I want to put some colour in this as well. So let's go back to my bits and bobs. Move those ones. I've got these are little stamped images of poinsettias that I've done. I've got, you know, little stamped bits, little numbers that I've cut out, etc. So we're just going to use all of these sorts of things. He's not going to go with that one though. Don't like that. Don't like the berries in that one. Right, so we'll pull some of these out and have a look. So that's nice. All right, see, that's all it takes. There's just something like that. I'm just going to glue as I go. Right. Might help if I actually roll the glue up. There we go. And there's my cloth. Wipe out all the excess glue in that one. I'm actually going to put my hole in there now so that I can see whereabouts I'm going to with all of that. So again, I'm just going to use my grid. That's my middle point. I want my hole about there. Here we go. Right. So that's the normal size hole I tend to use, especially with things like this, because I just want that sort of string on them. They're tags to go on presents, so they're for them to stick on with sticky tape or whatever else they use so that they can flip over. Right. Don't know if I like that. Let's have a look. What have I got in a green one? In the burgundy. Oh, hang on. I also have little tags, but they're just a little bit. And I've got these. These are awesome. These are out of a paper pad from years ago, but they just work a treat for little words, etc's. That one. There's the red one, so let's get rid of that. And we'll use that red because it'll match in with those ones. And do I want a stamped? These are just an old set of darkroom door ones. I think they came out 2011. They're still one of my favourites. And these ones I've cleaned. Look at that. I like No Peeking. I like the Christmas Post. And I can't read what that one is. Naughty or Nice I don't want. Christmas Joys I like. There it is. Right. Do I want to use that or do I want to use a bit of coffee stained? You can see I quite often stamp full stamps and then just use parts of them. Let's use this one. And I want that. Colour-wise, let's go green, will we? Because let's face it, Christmas is green and red. And in which case we'll use the VersaFine Shady Lane. It is a very pretty green. Take your stamp, your ink pad to your stamp. You can see that it's all been covered. Give it a good push. Beautiful. All right. Cut around that one. And I'm not going to cut out the little jagged stamp one, so I'm just going to fussy cut, but just slightly up around it. So no ins and outs and all the rest. And down. I like that. I like that. That's what I'm looking for. So you can make them as much or as little as you like. And you don't want them too thick if you're using them on presents. And we're going to make a selection of different types of ones. I just want that crooked. And we want a little bit of this. This is just crochet cotton, I think it is. Crochet and knitting cotton 4-ply. Straight through there. Don't need them that long, do I? Probably do, depending on where they want them in the present. And just because I have to, and it's me, we'll just very quickly go around the edge so that it stands out on their present. Or in the journal. I should have done that before I did the cotton. Here we go. All right. So, take that out because it's just sitting in there ready to go in at the moment. Music one with a music one. Okay, that one I'm not going to pop one in. We've got writing space. There's another serviette one that I did. That's a taller one. This one's going to get tucked in here, like so. They just need their threads on them. Writing, nice big ones for receipts or ideas, etc. Need one for in here. I wonder what one of those ones would look like. Oh, sorry. They would look all right, wouldn't they? So, it'll still have its hole up that way, so it's going to go down this way. And I'm thinking maybe something in the centre, torn out. Moment, still lots of space on the back for them to write their tos and froms and loves and all the rest. So it's going to go this way. We're going to tear something out for that one, and we might, I've got, here we go. Here we go. The rest of the paper pads. See, they will all work too, won't they? They will all work a treat. It's Christmas in the heart that puts Christmas in the air. I'm just going to tear around that. I might end up trimming it back a little bit because I'm really thinking that I want the piece on the outside edge that's torn. So let's find something new. Sit nice in that one, won't it? That's just that green. That'll be too light. Yep, let's just go that one. I'm determined to use these paper pads this year, and then I'll be able to buy myself some new ones. I think I might actually cut around that. What did we do with the scissors? I'm such a clean crafter, aren't I? Oh, it's sad. All right, very quickly trim around this one. Okay. I'm doing well for time. Halfway through and I've done one tag. Oh no, we prepared 2 others though, didn't we? So that's all right. All right. Right, so that's that. That'll give me my torn edge. Go that way, Kylie. Otherwise I end up with a white edge. Sometimes I like the white, sometimes I don't. It's going to have to go up there. Almost fits in. I might have to trim it back a bit. Just a little bit. And across there. Straighten it up. I could blow my glasses for that too, couldn't I? It's not going to work. And that's getting worse as I go. I don't mind it a little bit wonky, but it needs to fit that. And I actually don't like it. So, where was that poinsettia from the stamped ones? Here. There. Needs something like that on it, doesn't it? Still don't know if I like this. Or do we do a... Or do we do one of these? Maybe we do it in one of those. It won't hurt, will it? Let's just try one of those ones. All right. And I can nearly keep straight with this because I'm following the lines, aren't I? And I'm not a musician. Which way around does my music go? That way? Don't growl me if I've got it wrong. I like it better in that. So we'll just take it down a little bit further because it's a little bit wide. And I'll edge it. All right. Yeah, I like it better in that. Just makes it pop a little bit and stand out more. I like that green, but it didn't allow it to If I was going to keep doing more clusters on it and things like that as though it was a normal journal, as in a normal journal tag, and I could do folds and flips and all the rest, then yes, I think I would have liked it more, and I'll just save it for something like that. But for this, for a flat one, I'm thinking I just want this to pop a little bit, so we'll use the gold. And I've got hints of gold through it, just little bits, not too much, but just little bits. So we're going to go there. Okay. And we want that one. I'm actually thinking I'd like to do that in a red. If I edge that in a red, but maybe I might, my little poinsettia I've done in the archival ink in that red, but you can see it's a well-loved ink pad. So I'm just going to actually scratch that down the surface because I don't want it. Now, if you're scratching it down the surface with your ink pad, don't go like that because the paper will cut your ink pad. But if we just, so go down. And what that'll do, hopefully, now it is permanent ink, so I'm being careful not to get it all over my hands. So once I've taken this away, you'll see, if I find a little piece of white, here we go. Now you can see it's got that reddish tinge to it. So I haven't gone around with my distress ink, which would have taken it further in. It's just given it that little edge, which now lifts that up just a little bit. Just a little bit, that's all I needed. We'll glue that one. I'm actually going to glue it with this because then I don't have to have the scrap piece there, do I? So this is just my normal white liquid glue that I use, that I've just put into a smaller bottle. I can still see that gold around that. And then I want this one. I'm actually going to sit him on my tweezers in the first place. I like my opposite, whatever they are, tweezers. Right. Give that a push. Put a hole in the top of that one, or a little bit. There we go. And you can see where we're going with that one, hopefully. And a little bit of that one again. I don't know if they have a measurement, I'm just chopping. You can always chop them smaller if need be. Straight through, front to back, with your loop. Right, so that one, oh, see, and I had gold on that one as well, so there you go, it matches it. There we go. Right, this one I've already done. Now that's with a serviette as well, which was an embossed serviette. That's just a poinsettia that's been cut out of a paper pad, and then I've put a little bit of the gold stickles in that. And I've edged that one with a just a normal pen, but it's a slightly sparkly pen, so that all matches in with that one. Right, we've got that one. I don't want one in, it's just a pocket. That one's already got him in, but he doesn't have the hole in the top. So, sort of mean how I've stamped, and that's a bit of handmade paper again there as well. Right, a little bit in that one. through there. Pull. Right. So, next one. That one. Okay, so he needs another tag in him. I don't want them too large, but if I just set them up, they will work. Right, so we're going to go in that one. And for one of these, let's have a look. If I give that a border down like that, so we'll cut our doovies first. We'll cut them first, and I've got it here somewhere. All right, so we'll just cut. What did I do with my doovie? You know, the doovie? Doovie. It's all right. It's because it's the same colour as all the Christmas wrapping paper. Right. Once again, I'm cutting it a bit smaller. Right, this one I want a little bit thinner. So what I'm going to do is with my pencil, and that's why I don't like my scrap paper there, because it covers so much. So I've got a gap up here, I've got a gap down there. I want the same gap, so if I make a mark there, and a mark there, a mark there, and a mark there, if I follow those marks, then I should be able to, if you can see those marks, Kylie, it should then come out with that same gap, hopefully. We all got our fingers crossed. Look at that. Right. And that one's going to finish on that line of writing. Straight down there. Look at that. Lovely dovely. Right. Back to this, because I'm over the mess that I'm making everywhere by having that scrap paper out for my glue stick. So, mind you, the glue stick is quicker. That's fine. Have another sip of your coffee. It's all right. All right. Lid on that before it dries. It'll allow me to move it around a bit. Give it a push. Now, I had those little, I know, I've just got too much. I'm thinking, see, I know peaking would look nice on that, but it's too big, isn't it? Oh, I'd have to be good. I'd have to be good. And I'd need to do it in a white or a gold. Do I have a gold here? I've got a silver. I don't know where my gold is. I'd like that in a gold, actually. So, Moonlight White. White. I should have gold. I think I've got just a little gold. Let's have a look in these. These are my travel ones. Yeah, I've got a little Versacolour and a gold. Maybe I need a proper gold again, because I'm not heat embossing. Normally I would heat emboss this. We're not going to heat emboss it. We're just going to stamp it. But because I'm not stamping and cutting out, and this is a rubber stamp that I've normally just stamped on and then maybe cut around or whatever else. I'm just trimming it back so that I can see the exact size. And then, because I want to stamp on that. So I'm going to use a different block. All right, so I've got a block here with lines on it. So if I line this up so that my wording, and what I'm doing is the peaking is going to be dead on this line, and I've got this dead on that line. That gives me some idea. That doesn't look straight. That's better. I think it's just that's... All right, so technically, and I'm going to stamp it on something scrap anyway to start with. Well, stamp on. I'll just stamp on that to start with, just to see what it's going to do. A darker colour, actually, because we're going to use the gold, aren't we? So, do I have a piece of black in here? Yes, I do. There you go. Well, dark brown anyway. All right, and then I can line it up and see if it actually is where I want it to be. All right, at least that gold still works. Right. This is my side that I've said straight. Let's see if that's actually straight on there. Yes, it is. Right. So now for the moment of truth, we're going to need to line it up with that one. A little bit on the edge there. All right. This is my side, so just bear with me if my head goes into shot. And I've got one eye closed. I think that's in the middle. I'm hoping that's in the middle. Moment of truth. Yes. Okay, there we go. So, hey, on that one, I'd like it slightly brighter, but that's all right. That's all right. Maybe I could tuck something out of there with it. So, something red just to lift it up. Oh, red ribbon. Did I bring red ribbon? Got that. Let's just have a look at that for a minute. It's still not the red that I wanted, but I don't mind that. Yeah, I don't mind that. Right, so we'll trim this back down to size. I don't want it where my hole's going to go up here, so I'm going to put that hole in first, I'm thinking. And I want the middle, and I want that hole about there, I'm thinking. I'm thinking a lot today, obviously. Right. So, that down there. To about there. We'll just chop that. Right, because it's, I don't know what we used to call this. Fairy mesh. There you go, fairy mesh is what it's called. But it's got that gold, but it's very, very light. So if I lift that right up, you'll see There's not much there to adhere it by. I've found in the past the easiest way to adhere this is to actually adhere it to this, so that this one will sit in here, and I will use some double-sided tape in there so that it's actually attached to my top piece first, and then that will be attached to there. So this bit doesn't actually need to adhere down. So, I'm just going to use this slot, which is just a, I don't know, half inch. It's not a half inch, quarter inch. It's 12 mil anyway. 12 millimetre double-sided tape. It needs to be a bit small. Oh, no, it doesn't. Oh, look at that. I'm assuming that that's dry now. I'm just bringing it up to my light so that I can make sure that that's completely dry before I start really killing it. Peel those off. All right, sitting this one down, sitting it down in the spot that I want it to. And what I'm actually going to do is just very lightly sit that where I want it. And then lift that up so that it's sticking to that. And then I'm going to put double-sided tape again over the top of that instead of my glue, and that will adhere it down to my tag. That one's a little bit too long. By like a millimetre. Right. Down. Now I can hear that whole thing to the tag. I'm going to go sideways because it's so much easier when I'm going sideways. Don't ask me why, it just is. So I can line it up. Right, and there's that one. So we'll put our string on that one as well. Yeah, so much for making 6 to 8 tags. Awesome. Because I think I've got about 5 minutes left, haven't I? All right. There's that one. Bring our book back over. Tuck that in like that. Right. So, that one's another large one. I don't necessarily want a tag in. That one needs a tag. That one's writing. So let's see how this thing's going. Not quite dry. Oh, that's not too bad actually. I'm quite happy with that, but it's going to take a little bit longer to dry. It is at the point where I can trim it down now though, and we can see what it's like. It's a little bit sticky. I don't know if I want it on this page or not. It might be too bright a green. And I know they're to go on presents and they're not necessarily to go, you know, colour code with each page, but that's just me. Right, don't know if you can see the embossed look in that still. There it is. Am I in shot? Yeah, look at that. See, so if you don't push too hard and it's adhered on nicely, you should still get all your raised embossed parts. My daughter last year for Christmas gave me some serviettes that were all embossed, and they go on beautifully. And yeah, the green in that is just awesome. Right, I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to do one more quick one. Call it a day. So we'll get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of some of this mess. So I want a tag for this. I should still have another tag. Cut here. You're going to go in there like that. We will... What was that one? Christmas Joys. It almost goes down. Let's do some more ribbon. Okay, I've got another ribbon over here, so let's do some more ribbon. Maybe I'll do a rounded one. No, most people are used to, with their presents, used to normal tag shapes. So we'll stick with the tag shape. I've got a gold, I've used a silver ribbon on the front of the journal, but I've got a gold one that I found a while ago. I went through all my piles of ribbon. I've got that. So something like that. It'll need to go further down because I'm not going to be able to punch a hole in that. What side do I like it? So it'll have to start down there, won't it? Just had a thought. Just had a thought. Let's go the other way. Let's do it from here, like so, and put a tab on the top that can have the hole punched in it. So I want a piece that's around about that long. Cut that a little bit longer so that we've got room to put it on. I want something fine, etc. behind it. I do like my handmade papers, but, and then I want Christmas Joys across there. So I want a paper that's going to have a gold tab, I'm thinking. A gold. So let's just finish this one off. That's more copper than gold, isn't it? Right, so let's have a look. That's silver. I don't know if I've got any gold just there. All my handmade ones, but yeah, nearly time. See, that's Bertha telling me that it's time to what about a silver tab? Don't like that silver though, it's not bright enough. It's not bright enough. Let's pull out the, you know, the big guns. I could do a glitter one in that. I wanted some washi tape the other day. I didn't have any glitter washi tape because I don't normally use glitter washi tape, and I've had all this stuff for years. They're just in my Christmas box, and so I went and nicked one of my daughters. Unfortunately, I've used quite a bit of it, so I had to stop and actually cut down some glitter stock before I used all of it on her. Now that's a silver. That's a silver that would work for the tab. So let's have a look. I'll pull out one of these. That would work for the tab, wouldn't it? Right, so here's my tab. I'm just going to choppy that to make my tab. Make sure I've only got one piece of that there. It's very fine, so I want... Oh, it needs to be narrower than that, but I can chop it down. All right, cut along there. That wasn't straight. Way too deep. Drop a bit in there. I want a smaller one. Let's go that. So don't know much. Like that. So I'm thinking we'll use a normal handmade paper on that, like one of these ones. There we go. Something like that. Which just gives that fine slub too. And that one I'm actually going to use that gel medium on. I'm thinking, because I don't want anything else to shine through on that. So, back to the scrap. Get rid of all the fluff off that. But it does mean I'm going to have to wait for it to dry. But we can get the rest of it done while I'm waiting. Because I just want it as the bottom piece. I'm not going over the top as a sealer with this one. Yes, that's adhered that beautifully. Move you out of the way again. And we'll grab the big scissors again. Make sure that side's down. Chop that. Right. Move that because we're not using that one. I'm wanting that all the way up there. And I'm going to use my, so you'll use Fabri-Tac, or in Australia, it's the Helmars 450 or something equivalent. Helmars do a fabric glue as well. I'm actually going to put it on that so that I can see how wide I need it. Doesn't need to go right to the edges, just as long as I've got enough on there that it's going to actually hold it down. Sticky. Somewhere in the centre. So if we hold that on our grid again, we can see where our centre point is. And I'm going to go above it so that I can trim top and bottom, and mean that I get that nice crisp edge because I've trimmed the top and the bottom. Oh, see, I cleaned this mat just before I started. Oh, probably needed to clean me now too. My stamping mat. I'm going to do Christmas Joys. Don't need the rest of that one. And I'm red or green. We'll have a think of that one. Move that one out of the way. Move that out of the way. Just move some of these before I get all this glue all over it. I needed that, didn't I? Don't need the rest of that. Decided against the glitter, and I won't need that one. All right, let's just get rid of some of these. Oh, that's drying on there. Lovely. That one can go, that one can go. That one's drying. That one and that one can go. Look at that. We've got space again. Do you know what I haven't found though? My tab piece that I cut. Don't tell me I just threw it in the bin. Oh, Kylie. Well then, we'll just cut another one of those. I know. Don't know. It's not going to take much to cut it. I'll find it now. I reckon I threw it in the bin. Fairly certain. See, it doesn't pay to clean up. Right. Now let's go back to what I wanted. I want that about there. And then I trimmed it smaller, so it wasn't quite as fat either. Let's have a look. Even on there and there. Yeah, might need to be that with my hole up there, mightn't it? So in which case, what I'm going to do, just excuse me reaching across, I'm going to use the double-sided tape on that one. Just a thin one to actually adhere it on. And then on that side, all right, trim that bit off to make him nice and even. And that one. Double-sided tape. Ah, find a fingernail that works, Kylie. Again, I'm just going to sit that in my grid. It's about even. So, right, that'll have his string in him, and this one we're going to stamp onto, and I might actually use, it's the wrong creamer colour again, isn't it? There's just way too many creams. We'll have a look at it on there. And I want a longer block. There. No peeking back over there. All right, I want this block. Again, I'm going to use my lines. This one's going to go sideways anyway, so it's going to make no difference, is it? And then I'll just cut around it, I think. In the red again, I think. Let's have a look. I've moved it further down the paper just so that it gives me a little bit of working out where I want to cut it to. So instead of going right up towards the top, because I'm fairly certain it's almost the thickness of that. I like that. I quite like that actually. So let's have a look. Bring this on over. Right, it is about same thickness as the tag from memory. Now let's have a look. Not quite. A little bit more off it. And that in the centre. And take a little bit more off the bottom. Time goes so fast when I'm doing this. I could just lose all day. So sorry, guys. I'm so sorry that this is taking forever. Right, and I actually want that on some red. Red. So, let's have a look. I should have some red. Just a little bit of red in that, or do we want red glitter? I'm thinking maybe back into the Christmas stock, you see. So I've got all this, should have red glitter here somewhere. Or do I just use his, that's actually a nice red. And it's not too much in your face, because that's just me. Just a little bit of a border on that, which will lift that up like so. Right, so that actually needs to be cut the same size as that tag. Then I can trim the other one down to it. So all I'm going to do, sit that on there. This is the easiest way. Trim up the side of the tag. Cut it across so that we've taken that piece out. And then what we've got is we know we've got a square down here that is the same size as that tag. So we can now see if we need to trim this back just a little bit. It wouldn't hurt. Give it just a little bit more touch of red around it. So, and I know if I use my scissors, I'll go really wonky. That's a bit better, isn't it? Like so. So we'll stick that on there and then we can trim off the other side. Right. Sorry, I've got to keep going off screen to do that. I've got to pick it up. And match up 3 sides. And then we've only got to trim off the top, which I can then do with my scissors, because I've got something to go off. Now that I said that, I'm going to kill it. Lovely doubly. That should fit that. Something is crooked on that. I still don't like that. I still don't like that. I will add something else to that one. You know when you should just stop it and go, no, it's not going to work. Walk away, come back to it. Instead of just persevering, just come back later on. So we'll stick that on there because it needs something else. I think it is that silver on the top. I don't like that silver on the top. That's going to go. I will find out somehow, some other way. I really don't like that. And unfortunately, I used double-sided tape, didn't I? Don't like it, don't like it, don't like it. Gently, 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 gently. Gone. I will think of some other way to put something on there. Right, so finishing. That's going to go in there, but we will find a different way of putting something on there. I've got 3 little ones to go in there. That one's not going to have a tag in it. That one's going to have a tag in it. That one's going to have a tag in it. That's another pocket but doesn't need a tag. That needs a tag. That needs a tag. And then that's a belly band. So that just slides down like so. Oh, and actually that one works well in there. So when he dries, he's going in there. And I've got extra pages in there because I don't know yet whether they're staying in there. I need to pull them out because it's getting rather thick. That one is a pocket on that side. And then the last page has a Merry Christmas December 25th with a tag in that. But as you can see, it's starting to get thick. So the extra pages at the back are there and I can pull them out if required, which I'd say for me is how it's going. So that's my, it's not really a December daily. It's a December journal stroke daily stroke tag holder, etc. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've done a few tags with me as well, whether they're for your journal or for Christmas presents, etc. Until next time, guys, happy crafting. Thank you.